an exercise which you should start now. So see, you guys can see my screen now, everybody. You can see my screen, right? So this is one exercise you need to practice from today. Okay, so at least spend 1 hour every day for this particular exercise until you upload your resume, or even after uploading resume also, until you get a job. You should do this exercise at least 1 hour a day. So let me show you those things. So I hope everyone can see my screen, right? I just shared it. So go to a website called allinterview.com. I hope you might be knowing, but I'll be telling you the correct process how to prepare for this. Okay, for the real time things. Okay, there is a website allinterview.com. So for sure, please do this exercise. The guys who has done this exercise was placed within 1 month after the training. Okay, hardly 1 month or 1.5 months they got placed. The guys who has done this, they have taken 1 or 2 months more time. Okay, so if you want to get placed just after the training, do this exercise. So go to the website allinterview.com. So it's a little slow. Let it open. Internet might be very slow actually. Okay, so you can see here, right? This is a website allinterview.com. So go to this website and click on companies. Okay, on the top of the menu you are seeing this, right? Companies. Click on these companies. Okay, so you will be finding alphabetical here. That means companies are listed here alphabetically. So first create your own list, like say what are the companies you can remember: Accenture, IBM, Wipro, Infosys, TCS, Capgemini, Cognizant, HCL, Hewlett Packard, HP. Like this, list out some at least 20-25 companies, whatever you can remember, TechM, like this, and browse those companies alphabetically. Say suppose now I want to open IBM. I want to go for IBM. So just click on I, alphabetical I, and lot of different companies which is starting with I would be opened in the below. But you just check for IBM. Okay, so this is IBM. So you have a lot of other companies also, but take the top companies, top 20 or 25 companies. First create a list. Go to the IBM. Okay, so here you'll be finding lot of technologies on the right side. You see lots of technologies. Okay, so try to access SAP SD in this here. Okay, where is SAP SD? Yeah, SAP SD. So just click this SAP SD. Okay, so you'll be finding lot of question and answers here. You see lot of question and answers. Okay, so what are the user exits? How can we create user exits? What are the purpose of user exits? Or what is the pricing procedure? What is meant by variant configuration? Can you please copy one inquiry to many quotations? Is it possible? Anyone? Can you copy one inquiry to many quotations? Anyone? Did we discuss this? At least you guys remember this?
No, once the inquiry is referred, it is completed.
Okay, so what is the control which is controlling this particular?
Copy control.
Not copy control, not reference mandatory.
Sorry, document types, no?
In the item category, you have a field called uh, what's the field? Completion rule. You remember completion
Yeah.
rule in the item categories? That what concluding that. So what is the completion rule for inquiry? It is A. That means it tells that the document is completed with the first reference itself. Okay. So you know this answer, but many people don't know answer for this question. See, the questions whatever you are seeing here is nothing but the guys who has attempted the interviews in IBM and they don't know answer. Now they want to find out the answer, so they have come here and they posted the questions. That means before going to the interview itself, you are learning these questions. See, that means you are prepared well ahead than others. Okay. So do this exercise. Try to prepare, write it somewhere, all these questions or something. Okay. So that, so what are the 16 steps in pricing?
Ravi,
Yeah. Who's that? Gaurav. Yeah, go ahead.
Praveen, could you please send us in videos?
Yeah, I'll share it, Gaurav. Yes. Okay.
I am an urgent need for that.
Sure. I'll share it. So why? Because it's an independent your question, so we can talk it once after the session. Okay.
Okay.
Once after that I'll call you. Okay. So do this for every company like this. As I told you, you'll be facing the same questions in the interview tomorrow. Okay. And if you are not prepared with this, you will be taking 1 or 1.5 month more to get a job. Okay. In consignment sales, in which phase account document generated, and in which phase accounting document will not generated. You will also find answers here, but I don't know whether these answers are correct or not. So make sure again, why? Because if this topic is finished for us, for sure you can answer this question. Okay. So cross check whether the answers are correct or not. If you know the answer, post it here. Okay. So in only in two process in consignment, the accounting document will be generated. That is in the consignment issue and consignment returns. Okay. And for what purpose we are maintaining SIN in SAP and what is the use for that? So why for Indian taxation? Okay. So how to create a new T code? That's what the for anyway. So lots of questions which you'll be seeing in the real time. Okay. So do this exercise, and only IBM alone you have close to 305 questions. Okay. You go to Accenture, another 300 you'll be finding. So close to you'll be getting another 600-700 questions. So what is your SLA? I hope you know that. What is the main field in account group? What is the main fields in account group? Or this is nothing but critical fields, or what we call, we already have this question in our document, that is parameters. Rebate. Use with cash discount and without cash discount field. Okay. What is the use of shipment cost info? Okay. So lots of questions. I hope you got this point. So do this exercise. Spend at least 1 hour to 1.5 hours every day. This is the time for you to start for interviews. Until now, what are the concepts we discussed all 1 month? Not for interview, but from today you should prepare for your interview so that you can go at the earliest to a new job. So same practice, go with, okay, what is your role in implementation project? We already discussed. Okay. What is the freezing stage in business blueprinting? We discussed. Difference between workbench request, customized request, we discussed. I hope you remember this. I told you also, right? They will be asking this question. What is early watch or what is hypercare? Did anyone remember what is early watch and hypercare?
First few days after implementation.
Yeah, in go live phase, you will be doing this early watch and hypercare. So to optimize the performance of the system and to check whether everything is working or not. So do these activities for all the things. Suppose say go to alphabetical A and search for Accenture. Okay. Likewise, any company, whatever you remember, at least first list out some companies in your pen and paper. List out and select this Wipro like this. So I'm going to Accenture now. Again, same exercise. Go to Accenture and select SAP SD under this. 100 questions. These questions, who's the guys who has faced in Accenture but could not answer there, they are posted here for answer. So you are preparing well advanced before going to the interview. What are the fields in pricing procedure? 16 fields. Okay. How does an item category control? What it controls? Okay. How plant is determined? I hope you know it. Okay. Service request. What is the purpose? What is the training? Any difference between item category, item and schedule line? Debugging, dunning. Okay. Okay. See, lots of questions. So do this exercise. Okay. I hope everyone got this right. So you also have questions here, but make sure with your knowledge or cross check with someone else or with me whether the answer is right or not. If the topic is finished, I hope you will be in a position to judge whether this answer is right or not. But if the topic is not finished also, not an issue, write that question somewhere else. Okay, so I hope you got it right. This is one important exercise what you have to start right from today itself. Do this. Okay, so let's get into our new concept today, which is availability check. As you know, availability check is a process of checking material whether it's available in that particular plant or not. Availability check is always plant and material specific. Why? Because we may not be maintaining every material in every plant. Okay, certain materials are not maintained in certain plants. Okay, so availability check is plant and material specific. Availability check is nothing but it's a process of checking the stock availability of the materials which is created in the sales order. Okay, so if you remember when we are discussing material master, we have discussed that there are some prerequisites. Okay, we have seen one field in the general plant data or MRP 1 or 2 somewhere we have seen availability field and 0102 maintain, and we have discussed the same scenario also there, right? 0102, and we discussed that this is one of the parameter to determine availability check. So the prerequisites to perform availability check, and see, availability check is an integration, major integration between SD and MM, and availability check is always material and plant specific. Okay, you will be searching for this material in only this particular plant. If it is not available, then only you will be going for other plant. Okay, so this is first prerequisite, so I will not be discussing this scenario again. Why? Because we already discussed that earlier. So first you need to maintain this availability check field, and see, very important, in the real time availability check is called as checking group. So don't be confused if someone is talking about what is checking group maintained in your project. Checking group is nothing but availability check. That is nothing but 01 or 02. If they are in the interviews also, sometimes they ask this question: what is the checking group you maintain in your project? Okay, checking group is nothing but availability check. Okay, so this is the first prerequisite. You should maintain checking group in the sales general plant data in the material master. And the second prerequisite is schedule line category. See, we have seen 01, 02, right? We know what is 01. It's a daily requirement which will accumulate everything and update in a single line like this. And we know 02, which will update everything along with the sales order number like this. We have one more also, KP. I show this in the system also. KP means no check, no availability check. In which scenarios you don't perform availability check? Anyone? In which scenarios you don't perform availability check?
Third party sale.
What is that?
Third party.
Third party
Sales.
Yeah.
Maybe you procure from third party. Yeah.
Yes, third party. The best scenario is make to order. Okay, make to order. You start procuring raw material itself after once you place the order. So you don't want to perform availability check. So if you don't want to perform availability check, maintain KP. And what it controls also, I'll show you in the system. So the next is schedule line category. So yesterday I want to show you something, right, which is delivery scheduling. Just a moment, let me go there. /n SPRO. So let me show you, if your company wants only backward scheduling but not forward scheduling all the time. If system could not found the orders, if confirm the orders in the backward scheduling, you want to drop the orders. So how to configure that? So let me show you. So go to sales and distribution. You will be seeing these all things in the basic functions. Go to the basic function. Basic functions, and go to availability check and transfer of requirements for this. But now we are going for delivery scheduling. Let me show you one configuration. Go to the delivery scheduling and go to the first configuration, like define scheduling by sales document type. Click this. Define scheduling by sales document type. So yesterday I have shown that maintaining X. That means you are activating delivery scheduling for that document type. That's what you will be doing here. You see, select your document type, or say suppose, and maintain X. Maintain X means you want system to perform delivery scheduling. But at the same time you have one more field which is called as backwards. For every field you check, for everything it is switched off. Okay, but if you activate backwards, that means in your company you want to perform for this order type only backward scheduling. If system could not confirm the quantities in a backward scheduling, system will drop the order but not go to the forward scheduling, right? This is the configuration. So if the interviews, if they ask this scenario, or else you can also tell them this scenario. Can you please tell me some scenario which you worked in availability check or delivery scheduling? You can tell this scenario, saying that for some customers actually they don't want to confirm the orders if the quantities are not there. Okay, system should check the backward and drop the orders. Okay, so this is one configuration what you can do. Okay, so come back and let's see availability check. So availability check, you can see in this thing availability check and TOR. So select this availability check, and if you
Praveen,
have availability check,
sorry, Praveen.
yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Praveen, can we just stop the forward scheduling only for particular material? For example, we are going to stop production of a particular material.
Okay.
So I don't want to do any forward scheduling.
Okay.
Only if the material is available, I will create the order.
Okay.
So can it be a material specific?
No, you for that you need not to come to this topic. You can do that in the middle master itself. You have X plant specific, or you have D chain specific. You remember those fields?
Yeah.
With that itself you can stop, and you know from which date again the material will be available, right? So that's the reason in the right side you will be having valid from a field, right? So for this you can configure from material master itself. You need not to do that in availability check. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So the next prerequisites what you see in the availability check is schedule and category. That means schedule and category, if you remember, we discussed in the uh, uh, requirement and availability both should be activated. Okay, CN and CP. For CP both are activated, but CN it's not activated. Why? Because it's not no MRP. For CP it is deterministic MRP because these are both are activated. Okay, and requirement class should be determined into the sales document. So first, to determine a requirement class, a requirement type should be determined into the sales document. So let me show you where a requirement type will be determined in a sales document. So it's also an important in the interviews also they ask this question. Where do you see this requirement type in a sales document? Where it is determined? So let me go to VS01. So these are the four prerequisites first you should maintain, so then only system will perform the availability check. And to determine a requirement type, again you have some criteria. What was this criteria? It is strategy group, MRP group, item category plus MRP type, and item category. Now if you go back and read material master again, you can correlate with these all things. You have read there, right, what strategy group, you have read there MRP group, you have read there MRP type. Now you will be correlating everything. Okay, order. Z900 X124. Concepts, very important concept, not only for the interviews, in the real time also. I know few consultants who is working since last 7 to 8 years only on availability check. No other concept, only on availability check. Right from pricing, it is something like this. You will be working years and years in only one area: credit management, availability check, pricing, revenue determination, like this. So very important concept and easy concepts, very easy concepts. People think they are very tough, but if you can understand the flow, if I say MRP group, if you know where this field is and if you know what is the purpose of this, it's easy. But the guys who cannot correlate, then it's a problem. When you're by hearting the concept, then it's a problem. But when you correlate and you understand the concept, then just now Ramesh has asked one scenario like, can I do it metal specific? No, but where can you do? So if you have that knowledge, it's a cakewalk. It's pretty easy. But this will not happen in a day or two or a years of practice. But I'm sharing that years of experience with you guys. So try to get that. Okay, so let it open the order. It will take time anyway. So you know, to perform availability check, we need to maintain 4 prerequisites. The 4 prerequisites are: first, the checking group should be maintained, and you should maintain schedule and category. Both requirement and availability should be activated. And in the requirement class also, requirement and availability in TOR should be activated. We will also see this in the next session. TOR, we will be discussing about requirement class, and requirement should be determined into sales document. So this is what the question they ask in the interviews. Where does this requirement type will be determined in the sales document? Where can I see? Okay, and the criteria to determine a requirement type into a sales document is strategy group, MRP group, excuse me, sorry, I'm not feeling well actually, so please don't mind. Okay, item category plus MRP type and item category. So these are the criteria for which to determine a requirement type into the sales document. Still opening. Okay, so to configure the availability check, and see, availability check can be configured in 3 ways. One is availability check with ATP logic. ATP means availability to promise, available to promise. Okay, this is one method, and the next method is availability check with product allocation and rule based availability check. These are the 3 things which you'll be seeing, but in the training scope or in the real time also we'll be working only on availability check, this thing. Why? Because it's a, I'm saying SD and FI integration, right? This is where, if you remember product allocation, did you hear this word, anyone, earlier? And you know what is this? We discussed this in the middle master, right? Product allocation, reserving some products to the certain group of customers or some specific distribution channels, right? So for this you need consultants here. Okay, so in the middle master you have this. So but see, no issues here. In the resume mentioned specifically like this, you worked on availability check on ATP logic. Only this one, that's fine, not a problem. You need not to work on all these things, rule based or these things. Okay, you just mention in your resume saying that I worked on availability check hyphen ATP logic, availability check hyphen ATP logic. That itself they can understand what area of expertise you have in availability check, and your questions in the interview will be restricted only to the ATP logic, availability promise. That means if the quantity is available, then only I can promise you the delivery. Okay, so let's come and see. Okay, so this is the screen, right? Sales order. So let's see where the requirement type will be determined in a sales order. So requirement type in the sales order will be determined under the procurement tab. You can see this procurement tab. So under this procurement tab, the requirement type will be determined. So I'm in the procurement tab now, and you can see this requirement type. This is the field what I'm talking about. So there are different kinds of requirement: KL, 011, 041, 040, KE. Like that, we have different requirements depending upon different scenarios. For IPO, you have different requirement. For make to order, you have different requirement. For standard OTC process, you have different. You see 011, KE, KL, like this. Okay. Sales order manufactured by lot size. That means make to stock. Make to stock, it is KL. If it is IPO, KE. 011 also is a standard, either KL or 011 or 041 also standard. So we will be discussing about requirement and requirement class in deep in the next session of TOR. Okay. So now you know where this requirement type will be determined in a sales order. Requirement type in the sales order will be determined under the procurement tab. You can see this field. Okay. So the first configuration, availability check, can be configured 3 ways, but we'll be looking onto this. So let's go there. Okay, the first one. Okay, availability check, ATP logic. So go here. First, you need to define checking groups. What is checking group? See, if you ever wonder, like, see, when I go to the material master, when I'm creating material master, okay, by default, right? If I go to the checking group, that means availability check field in the sales plan, general plan data, by default, it's showing 01. You haven't maintained it, but by default, system is showing this. Why system is showing by default this? The configuration what you are doing now in the availability check, that's the reason system is showing. You will be doing a configuration with the plant plus material type, FERT, right? When you're trying to create a material, this is what you're selecting, right? You are selecting plant, you are selecting FERT. So if this combination is maintained, you are telling system that you should propose by default is 01. Okay. So with this backend configuration, that's the reason you are seeing that in the system automatically saying that 01 should be displayed. So that's anyway maintained in the default values here. But first you should maintain your checking groups. Go to the define checking groups, and you'll be seeing by standard. You don't do any changes here. You see 01, 02, daily requirement, individual requirement. At the same time, you have KP, which I was discussing, and no check. How you can maintain this, how system knows KP means no check? That is with this configuration. You see, no check is not activated for anything except for KP. No check is not activated for anything. Okay. So this is how system knows for if you maintain KP, system should not perform availability check. But if you maintain 01 or 02, daily requirement or individual requirement. And see, in the real time, you will not be getting any new requirement to create a new checking groups. Okay. You will not get any new requirement to have a user defined. You will be going either with the standards at the maximum. Okay. So availability check. And the next you have fields like total sales and total delivery requirements. See, I'm saying 01 means daily requirements, 02 means individual requirements. This 01 and 02 is namesake, like order means OR, cash sale means CS. Okay, it's a namesake. But what controls document type to behave as an order or a cash sale or a rush order? That is SD document category, right? Likewise, this total sales controls actually what it is. So let me afford. Okay. So F4, A means single records, B means total records per day. That means this particular field total sales controls, that is 01 means it's a daily requirement, 02 is means individual requirement. I can write 01 as 10, I can write 02 as 20, no problem. But unless until I assign this field, system will not know what it is. Okay. And you want to perform availability check at the delivery level also. We also discussed earlier some scenarios. Can you tell me one scenario where you want to perform availability check at deliveries? Anyone quickly? One scenario.
When you are allowed to change the, when you are allowed to add more items at the time of delivery.
Yeah, more items or a new line item or in the DS scheduling agreement, STO. Okay. So, so the reason you also maintain this at the delivery also, if you want to perform, you will be maintaining this. Okay. So that's what the checking group is all about. So as I told you, this is by default. You don't do anything here. Okay. So most of the things are standard. You don't do anything here, but you should know what its purpose is. So come back and define material block for other users. Define material block for other users. That means, see, we just discussed material, availability check is all about material and plant specific, right? That means X material, whether you have in the why, because you will not be maintaining every material in every plant. Okay, some materials you will be manufacturing or stocking in only certain plants. Okay, so X material and plant is Z900. That means now a customer has placed an order for X material 100 quantity, and the plant which is determined for this customer is Z900. So now what system is doing? System is checking in this particular plant for X material 100 quantity. Okay, so you have multiple end users, right? User 1, you have one more user, user 2, you have user 3. Okay, so all the users are creating same material, X material 100 quantity, X material 100 quantity, but different customers. This customer is 101, this customer is 102, and this customer is 103. Okay, same plant, same material, all the three users are creating order at the same time, but the quantity in this plant for X material is only 100 quantity available. So what happens? So system don't know for which to confirm and for which user to confirm or for which user to not confirm. So what you'll be doing is, in this configuration that is blocked for a default user or something, what system will do is, system will confirm these quantities for the order first created. That means even though he is user 1, user 2, user 3, that doesn't matter, but for which user first touches this plant and confirms, only for those it would be confirmed, and it will maintain a block for other users. Why? Because without quantities it cannot confirm, right? So that's what the requirement, the configuration step. This is nothing but define a material block for other users. So if the quantities are not there, and if the available quantities is confirmed for one user for one particular order, system will maintain block for other users. So that you'll be maintaining here. Okay, and so whether you want to maintain a block or not, you can maintain this. And initiator, let me have fun. Even this field is important, initiator, but I could not recollect what it is exactly. Okay, initiator tells that at which level you want to do that again, like says it's a sales level or delivery level or something. Why? Because you'll be performing availability check at multiple levels. Okay, so this controls A means at sales or order level, B means at delivery level, like this. Okay, so you can block some other users with this. So you want to define checking group default values. This is where with the combination of plant and material type, you maintain a default checking group. Okay, so go to new entries and select your material type. FERT always finished goods, and plant is mine Z900, and maintain your default checking group here, whether it is 01 or 02. So this is the reason when you create a new material, say if with this plant and your material type is this, system automatically shows 01 or 02, whatever you maintain here, in the material master by default. Okay, so this is the configuration which you need to assign. Okay, that's what the scope of the default values. The next is carry out control for availability check. This is the crux of complete availability check. Rest all are simple. Rest all are nothing. This is the next all are nothing but prerequisites. See, if you remember what is the prerequisites, first you need to maintain the checking group. You already maintained that here. The next is you need to define the requirement class. You will be doing here. And next is you need to activate schedule lines in the let me go there. What is the T code for schedule line? It is OV, no, VO, V5 or V6. VO, V, VO, V4. Your V4 or V5? What is the T code?
VOV6.
Your V6? Okay.
VOV6.
Okay. Slash n VO V6. Okay, yeah, this guy, VO V6. You see in the deterministic MRP CP, if you go to the controls, this both should be activated, right? That's what one of the prerequisites. And did you wonder how this is automatically activated here? This is nothing but you are doing that configuration here in the define procedure for each schedule line. You see, system is saying that you're already in the screen, so the data is logged. Okay, so these all are prerequisites. Okay, all the four prerequisites is nothing but which you have done already earlier. So that's the reason when you open this, by default you are seeing here. Okay, if you uncheck there, excuse me, if you uncheck here in the configuration, this will be updated in the VOV6. Okay, so rest all is only prerequisites, but the main crux of the availability check concept is nothing but carry out control for availability check, which is a famous T code also, OVZ9. So just click on the carry out control. So you can see the T code OVZ9, and it's maintained with a combination of checking group and checking rule. Okay, with a combination of checking group and checking rule, you'll be maintaining availability check. So OVZ9, very famous T code actually. So select this and go to, if you have defined your own, select your own, or else you can go with the standard. Go to the controls and you'll be seeing here. So this is the availability check and this is the control. I could not get Gaurav, you're talking about something. Okay, is that a medicine? Okay, yeah, thank you, thanks for that. Surely I'll take it today. I'm suffering with cold since last 2 days. Okay. So you will be maintaining this availability check control in the OVZ9 screen and with a combination of availability check and checking rule. Okay. So what all you have here? That means you can control many things from this screen. That is, include safety stock. I hope you remember we discussed about safety stock earlier. Where do you see this safety stock? In the Metal Master, right? In which screen? For it's MRPs, right? It might be in MRP something, MRP 2 or 3 somewhere. Okay, safety stock is nothing but you're reserving some stock for future purpose. So at any unforeseen situations like say natural calamities or plant breakdown or any political uncertainties, when you cannot manufacture the goods, you can sell those reserved safety stock to survive the company, to pay the minimum bills. Okay, so now the situation has come. Now this situation has come, like there is floods or some earthquake and everything is, the plant is down, and your client is telling that I want my safety stock to be included whenever availability check is performed. So whenever your client says that, what you'll do as a consultant, you'll be coming to the screen and you'll activate this. When you activate this, what happens? When you're performing availability check in standard, what happens? System considers only unrestricted stock, right? System considers only unrestricted stock when you're performing availability check. But now system also will check in safety stock. How can you control this? With this configuration step, making this active. The next, stock in transit. Okay, stock in transfer. In the STO process, we just discussed as a brief. In a STO process 2-step, what happens? When you raise a PO to the supplying company and they do delivery with reference to PO, what is the T code to do a delivery with reference to PO? Anyone quickly? STO. No one? Very important.
VL10,
VL
VL10B,
10D. 10B or 10D?
and VL
10B or 10D?
10D and 10B both.
Yeah. Okay, very important. Okay. So when they do delivery, what happens? The stock shows in stock in transit. But when the actual stock, it will become, when we do MIGO at the receiving plant, then only stock will become actual stock. Until then, stock will show it as stock in transit. But now your customer is saying that even though you don't have stock in your plant, if your stock is showing stock in transit, still you want to consider this when you're performing availability check. Okay. So even why? Because you are expecting the stock, right? So you want to confirm this. If your client is saying that, check this, so that even though the stock is in stock in transit, it will be included. If you want to include quality inspection stock, select this. If you want to perform availability check in blocked stock, select this. If you want to include some stock which is restricted use, select this. Okay, so this stocks is nothing but, in general, availability check is performed only in unrestricted stock, but in some situations when your client says that I want system to perform availability check in various storage locations like this, activate these all things, so that system will check there. And if you remember, yesterday we have seen some scenario like check without RLT. This is what replenishment lead time, check without RLT. If you activate this, system will not consider replenishment lead time. If you uncheck this, system will perform availability check, and quantities are not available, system will do the MRP transfer. Okay, so that's what this field is all about, check without RLT. And we have different stocks here. This is important. You should know first of all which is an inward movement and which is an outward movement. Okay, that means which is a document, internal document, outward document. Inquiry, whether it's an internal document or external document. Anyone? Inquiry is an internal document. Quotation is an outward document. Okay, you should know first of all what is an internal document. PO, purchase order, it's an external document. You should know these all things so that you can know what is a requirement. See, everything I have documented and written very neatly in the document. Just give some reading 1 or 2 times. You'll be knowing everything. Stepwise, you can configure everything. You see, FERT and my plant. Okay, by default I maintained as Z1, something like. Okay, and then next going to OV Z9 screen, you can see. And as I told you, from now you will be seeing screenshots in my document. Okay, STO process. Okay, in this process, if you want, just activate it like this. So okay, and the moment types is very important. What is the moment type for quality inspection stock? 503. Blocked stock? 505. So moment types are pretty important. For sure you'll be facing a question. So now let's see what is an internal document and what's an outward document. Okay, purchase order, purchase requisition, both are inward document. That means it's, if you raise a purchase order or PR, the stock comes inside the plant. The movement of the stock is inside the plant. Sales requirement or sales delivery. That means if you create a sales order or you do some delivery, the stock moves out of the plant. It's the outward movement of the stock. Production order or planning order. Again, it's an inward movement. That means if you manufacture some goods or you plan for some manufacturing, that means what happens, end result is some stock is ready and its stock will be added to the inventory. So inward movement of will add the stock to plant, outward movement will deduct the stock from the inventory. That means move outside the plant. Okay, so you have a lot of options again here. So depending upon your customer, see, as I told you, don't go by my system controls. I already messed up. Okay, so certain things will not be activated. Okay, go with your system and never disturb the standards. I already disturbed them. Okay, so if your client says you don't have stock in third-party process, you don't have stocks in your plant, but you raised a PR or PO to vendor and you are expecting that stock, but you want that order to be confirmed for the customer. If he says that, then activate this PR and PO. Even though the stock is not received at in the plant, you are expecting that it will be confirmed. So include purchase order or purchase requisition. If we check this, what happens? Quantities will be updated in MD04 as inward movements. Okay, and sales requirement, it's a scenario, you can just go through them. That means outbound orders and deliveries. Okay, so it's explained here like what is the outward movements, how it will work. And the next is include deliveries. It's the same thing again. If you check this include deliveries, then system will consider open delivery quantities. What is open delivery? You created order but not yet delivered the quantities of that order. It is still open, right? So in which scenarios you will do this? In the back order processing. Back order processing, you create order but you don't deliver the quantities for low priority customers. You can pull the quantities confirmed for the low priority and give it to the high priority. Okay, so some scenario here. The scenario is your client is saying that I have two plants, Z900 and Z901 is my two plants. In one plant, even though I don't have materials, system should confirm the quantities. But in one plant, if I don't have materials, system should not confirm the order. How you do this? Is the scenario clear? He's saying that in one plant, if materials are not available, system should confirm the order, even though materials are not available. But in other plant, if materials are not available, system should not confirm the order. How do you do this? Just think of, okay, with a single checkbox you can do that anyway. Okay, so next is production orders. See, these all are hypothetical. Inward and outward movement, whatever you are doing here is an hypothetical. Why? Because include production orders and include planned orders. All planned orders may not convert into production orders. Why? Because you plan to manufacture something now, but by the time you start manufacturing, the demand goes down and you drop the production. You don't produce. Okay, so these planned orders and production orders are uncertain. On all production orders may not consider into reality. Okay, so choose this wisely, and you can suggest your clients also whether to go for this or not. Okay, so that's what you configure in the OVZ9. These are the configurations you do in the OVZ9. So I have write up for all the things here. Okay, so once this is done, then go back to the configuration after the OVZ9. Go back, and what's the no? Okay, define procedure by requirement class. We have different requirement class. I have given. So standard requirement class, say suppose if it's make to order, it is 040. Okay, and if it is standard, it is 011, which we just seen earlier. And if it is for IPO, individual purchase order, it is KEB. Okay, requirement type is KE and class is KEB. Okay, so you have different requirement type, requirement class. So we'll see what is requirement class and type in the next session. Okay, and you know this prerequisite anyway, defining activating schedule line and requirements for schedule line, and determine procedure for delivery item category. Nothing but you go to the item category of delivery and activate whether to perform availability check or not. Yeah, what this controls? This configuration step controls whether you want to perform availability check at the delivery or not. That's what it controls. Okay, so if you remember, I hope you remember you've seen this field earlier. Can anyone tell where you have seen this field? In the delivery OVLP, delivery item category controls, I have shown this field and I told you very important, right? Delivery check off. And if you go to TAN, by default, you will be seeing this as X, sorry, blank. That means you want to perform it. If you don't perform, maintain X. Okay. So this field tells whether you want to perform availability check at the delivery level or not. If you go to the delivery controls, you will be seeing this field availability check. How it's maintained? From this backend configuration. Okay, then after this, define default settings. Just click this default settings. So in the default settings, you'll be maintaining with the combination sales org, distribution channel and division with your sales area. You have one field called availability check rule, one rule here. So what is this rule is all about means, I don't know whether you face this thing or not when you practice. When you are practicing for the first time and when you create an order, sometimes you might be seeing a pop-up saying that when you don't have complete quantity, you'll be seeing a pop-up, a warning message, and you will see a button called continue. Okay, so if you have insufficient quantity, system will throw you a pop-up. How that pop-up is shown? With this configuration step. If you want the pop-up to be enabled, select this. So what happens? System will show you a dialog box. Dialog box in case of shortages. That means if the quantities are not available, system will show you a dialog box. Okay, then you can select whether you want to perform this availability check in other plant or you want to confirm the order only with the partial quantities. You can go ahead with the controls. But how this pop-up or this dialog box is shown? With this control, whatever you're seeing this availability check rule. And we have one more field here which is fixed date and quantity. Suppose say for this sales area, if I activate this fixed date and quantity, okay, and I created an order under this sales area and quantities are confirmed. Once the quantities and delivery date is confirmed under this particular sales area, system will not allow you to change the delivery date and quantities. If this is activated, fixed date and quantity, whatever is confirmed, that is final. You cannot change it. Okay. So where is it? Default settings. Yeah, default settings. Just now we looked into a pop-up, and we have fixed date and quantity. Fixed date and quantity is all about what is that? System will not allow you to change. If you check the fixed date and quantity, system will not allow you to change the delivery dates or confirmed quantities while you create an order. Whatever it's confirmed, that is final. Okay. Then the next is backorder processing. We'll see this backorder processing tomorrow. Okay. One step is remaining here. You can see the checking rule for updating back orders. We'll see this tomorrow as a different concept. It's a small concept. It will not take hardly 10 minutes. That's it. But we'll see it tomorrow, not to confuse you. So this is all about availability check. Everything is standard. You need not to do anything, but you should know what is the purpose of the step. Say suppose pop-up, or else earlier we have seen whether you want to perform availability check at the delivery or not. Okay, you can read it and you can learn it. It is something kind of things. Okay, everything is standard, but you should remember these things. What is the requirement class for standard? Make to order, IPO. Okay, so read once or twice, for sure you will be getting these all things. So any questions for today? Anyone? Very important concept, availability check, but not that tough concept. Very easy. Just go through that. You'll be learning all the concepts. And I'll be also giving you one or two scenarios here so that you can better understand in the interviews. If they ask you, you can tell you. Yeah. So any questions? Okay. Hope so. No questions. We'll call it a day today and catch back tomorrow. Have a good day, everyone. Bye-bye.